Seahawks and Falcons, and we were saying this earlier today. There is a movement in Seattle, an active social media movement called "Let Russ Cook," where Seahawk fans and by the way, analytic people in the NFL are saying, "This is Russell's team. Let's go, Pete Carroll. Let's let it go." Now I know, Mark, your career was built on running the football, but you also won a lot of games with John Elway. When you're looking and deep diving on that Seattle tape from last year as you prepare for the Seahawks-Falcons game, do you think they need to reboot the offense in Seattle?
Absolutely not. Let Russ cook. You may let him cook. He may be on a spigot because they have not been very good from a protection standpoint. They are really built on being physical, being able to run the ball, and a lot of Russ's big plays in the passing game honestly come from the play action aspect of their ability to run the football, Colin. So that's a big part of what makes Seattle Seattle. And, I called the game last year where Baltimore came in there, and their whole premise was shut down their run game and make Russell Wilson throw it 45 times, because we think if we can do that, we think we have the advantage. So I'm not down with the let Russ cook. I'm down with the let the offense operate. And I will tell you this. He's one of the most unselfish players I've ever talked to. And I'm sorry about my dog, but he's really excited about Russell Wilson, obviously. But he's one of the most unselfish players I've ever talked to. And this is a guy that if he throws it 5 times in the first half, as long as they're winning, he doesn't give a rip. That's what makes him great. And it really is set up off that play action and then his ability to scramble around.
What's your dog's name, by the way?
That is Romeo, and Romeo very excited about being on the herd. He has always been a fan. He watches you every single day, and as soon as he saw you on the TV, I mean, he's giving his analysis. Obviously, okay. I apologize, but there's nobody home but me and Romy, so that's what you got.
All right, buddy. Okay, so now I want to concentrate on Atlanta, the team that breaks my heart every year. That's in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and now they got a coach that's a lame duck coach. And I actually like them in this opener. What is it about this organization? All this talent, Super Bowl MVP level quarterback, and they just don't show up every other Sunday.
Well, part of the issue, Colin, is that you can have talent. I mean, we get enamored by talent because talent is really easy to see. It's easy to see, speed. It's easy to look at Julio Jones and see what Julio Jones brings. It's easy to see just overall talent, speed, and athleticism. The issue is that they can't dominate a line of scrimmage, and they've really never, since they've had Kyle Shanahan, they really never basically majored in anything as a group. And so when I watch their film, one of the issues I have is I like, what are you, a wide zone team, a tight zone team, a bend back team? Are you a power team? Are you a gap team? What do you want to be? What is your run of choice? Like, that's what I would ask. And so I'm watching some tape from last year, and I recognize maybe 12 or 13 completely different schemes. Well, when you run that many schemes on any given Sunday, you don't major in any scheme, right? You basically minor in a bunch of them. So it really renders some of your play action stuff ineffective because you haven't sold any one thing. You haven't made a defense defend any one thing. And so I look at them as having too much volume in their offense. Like, pare it down, major in something, and sell out on that. And that will, you can look at all your periphery weapons and all your receivers and all that you have there. But the bottom line is, in my mind, you haven't done a good enough job of majoring in one thing in the run game that sets up a lot of the explosive plays of the play action.
Do you listen? My staff just said to me, "Do you want to take 90 seconds and put your dog away or something?"
That would be great.
Okay, go ahead. I'll wait for you.
Okay.
All right.
You talk amongst yourselves.
All right. So his dog is Romy, and
I almost got a dog right at the beginning of quarantine, and I'm glad I didn't, because we ended up working from home for 2 months.
So you're not a cat person?
I am a cat person, but I have an apartment, and like the litter box in the apartment, it's like a full life commitment.
Right.
So I'm glad I didn't, because once we started working from home for 2 months, I was like, oh my God, what would I have done if I had a barker? Like, my goal was to get like the laziest dog possible, but
I got a couple of those.
That's what I need.
Yeah. So I got Buddy and Yossi for Yosemite.
I had a dog, Romeo, in college.
Yeah. The way I look at it, I will say this about dogs is on a bad day.
Okay, I'm back.
Nothing puts you in a better mood. All right, there we go. Listen, Romy's a dog. He saw you talking to yourself, and he couldn't figure it out, and he started barking. No big deal.
Yeah, well, he's old, and he's old, and like I said, he's a big Colin Cowherd fan, so he just wanted to say hi.
All right. So, sometimes we overthink the room. And I look at Brady, and he got Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette's actually a really productive guy, considering he played in front of a bad front and had quarterbacks that people crowded the box. And I look at it and I think to myself, are we overthinking the room here? I got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I've got O.J. Howard, and I got Gronk, and I got Shady McCoy and Ronald Jones, and they upgraded tackle, and I got Leonard Fournette. Stink, are we overthinking it here? This is the most talented offense potentially in the NFC with the most efficient quarterback, and this is going to be a lot better team than we think in Tampa.
Oh, I think two things. One, you're right about the offense, right? You've got Gronkowski. You've got 3 tight ends that can really play. So you have an ability to attack a defense. You have an ability to really control the middle of the football field. Leonard Fournette, listen, I don't hold anybody accountable for not playing well in Jacksonville because, Colin, it's Jacksonville.
Right.
And that was one of the most dysfunctional organizations or is one of the most dysfunctional organizations. Nobody wants to be there anymore. And you've seen mass exodus, right? Guys just begging to get out of there, from Ramsey to Ngakoue now to Leonard Fournette. So Leonard Fournette is a full-grown man, and he is going to fit into that style exceptionally well. I think the other thing that people don't really understand is how good that defense is. They are young on that side of the ball. They are athletic on that side of the ball. Todd Bowles, their defensive coordinator, is a blitz-happy, go attack. And they've got this philosophical approach that we're going to create some turnovers. We may give up a few big plays, but we're going to create turnovers. We're going to create sacks. We're going to create short fields for that offense and that talent. It's incredible what they've built in Tampa Bay right now with Tom Brady, who at 43 years old is still absolutely insanely good.
So it's interesting. I really liked Denver about 2 months ago. I didn't love them at left tackle, and then their right tackle opted out. And I thought, oh boy, they're going to become Cleveland, where I like them, but they have a young quarterback with bad tackles. And then Von Miller gets hurt. And this morning I wake up and I think to myself, now I'm not so sure on Denver. Am I overreacting, or losing a right tackle, losing Von Miller, it changes things for Denver?
Yeah, no, it certainly changes things. And I didn't think they were a playoff team anyhow, because I think they've got too many question marks on both sides of the ball. But you were counting not only on a young, talented, but young offensive core, right? That was really what you were counting on being good. And then defensively, being really good on the defensive side of the ball with Von Miller, with Bradley Chubb, and you were going to overcome some of your issues on the defensive side. Inside linebacking from a coverage standpoint, young corners and corners out of position. They've replaced, essentially 3 starting corners, 3 of 3. So there were some question marks, but you thought, hey, with Von Miller and with Bradley Chubb, we can overcome those, those issues at corner early as those guys develop. Well, now all of a sudden, what do you got? Well, Bradley Chubb has been injured, and he's not full go yet. And I don't know what he'll be on Monday night, if he'll be ready to go or not. But I think at the very least, you're going to have him on a pitch count. And then you've got Von Miller, who looks like he's going to be out for the season. So, yeah, anytime you break the huddle as an offensive player and you've got a guy like Von Miller on that side, I played against guys like Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White. The first thing you do when you leave the huddle, when you go break, is you find that particular guy and you say, we have to have a plan for him. So if you're an opposing quarterback and you're playing against Von Miller, you're looking at yourself and going, hey, man, I don't know, 20% of our offense, we probably have to scrap pile it, because we've got to mitigate what he brings to the table from a pass rushing standpoint and from a presence standpoint. So all of a sudden you're going, oh, no Von Miller? Well, that 20% that we just canned is back in our offense now. So it gives me more opportunities. And now if Bradley Chubb is also injured, yeah, this is, this could be a 2-3 game swing.
Yeah. Is there a team, I'll put you on the spot here. Give me one team in the NFL that everybody likes, everybody's hot on, and Mark Schlereth is like, I don't see it. Who's the team? Everybody's just got them rolled into a 10, 11, 12, and you have some misgivings about them.
Well, I mean, there is always the Cleveland, the hype of Cleveland is going to be great this year, but let's just scrap pile them because I don't buy into that. The Rams are a team in that division, as tough as that division is. And, it was really interesting to me. Everybody last year said, well, the Rams, what were they, 9-7 last year?
Yeah.
Everybody said, well, people have caught up to Sean McVay. No, they haven't. They lost the most physical guard in all of football, and Roger Saffold went to Tennessee. There's a reason the correlation of the run game in Tennessee toward the second half of the season really exploded. They also lost their starting center. And what they were disguised as that people didn't realize is the Rams looked like a spread team, but they were really a power run football team that set up all their play